Think of your house. The kitchen in your house. It's like the stock market. It's what people notice. It's what makes them swoon. Now think of your plumbing, about how important it is, and how you only think about it when it starts to smell. Money markets are plumbing. The collapse of Lehman Brothers well and truly bunged them up, from the central banks all the way up to the mortgage on your actual kitchen. The money markets are the source of this god-awful stink. On any normal day, banks lend money to each other at a low interest rate. One way to track this rate is to watch the London Interbank Offered Rate, a poll of 16 banks that lend money on the London Interbank market. Normally, LIBOR is a fraction of a percentage point above interest rates set by central banks. This here is a measure of what it costs a bank to borrow money from another bank for 3 months. The LIBOR banks are respected financial institutions. Since September 15th, 3 months is now a long time to trust in the health of a bank, any bank. Now, we know you're not a bank, but LIBOR is the basis for calculating your mortgage and your student loan. Banks would much rather lend their money to the government than to other banks right now. You can measure this by the TED spread, which measures the gap between the rate paid by the government to borrow short-term, the Treasury bill, and the rate paid by banks in general. This gap has increased 16-fold since Lehman went bust. If it costs a lot for banks to borrow, they will pass it on to you, when they are willing to lend at all. If you're a company, you can sell a kind of short-term debt called commercial paper. Since investors were wary of financial institutions this summer, corporations seemed like an attractive option. But again, around September 15th, the market for 10-day corporate paper evaporated and the market for 4-day corporate paper quadrupled. 10 days then is too long to bet on any institution, and there's no other place to go for a 4-day loan. When it's hard for banks to borrow money, they're reluctant to lend it to corporations, or you. We're getting a whiff of how bad things can get. So forget the kitchen, forget the Dow and the FTSE for now, and watch the LIBOR. Until it drops, we're still all stopped up.